Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to some night. I hope you all are doing great. On topic of white women and how much they have perpetuated racism and all that by themselves and also by helping their husband, their spouses, siblings, brothers and sisters, whoever, parents in pushing racism, right? But most especially their husband, because sometimes when I see some videos flying around, I am always like, who is married to these people? Because it cannot be me. It cannot be me, except I am the same person as my husband, because I am not going to watch my husband come out on the internet, man camera, to say some disgusting things about other people, and that it's okay. I might as well be comfortable with it for him to do that. Yes, I might as well be comfortable. If not, that wouldn't be happening. But I wake up on daily to see all that, and who are the people supporting them? White women. It has always been, I thought women are supposed to protect women, not just only protecting women, black women and other women. No, they would rather see you going through it than looking for a way to help you. Because they are always like, if I help you, who am I supposed to oppress? Because you and I know that it's already in their DNA to look for somebody to oppress. There must be somebody that is on their foot, like they always say. Someone that is like the servant. You know what? Let's get into this video.
I said white people in that video because I meant white people, and white women are included in that number. Y'all always try to do this thing where we speak about the atrocities committed by white people against black and brown groups and other marginalized groups across the globe. And here y'all come with this bullshit about, we are also scared of them. I beg your damn pardon. Y'all have been complicit since day one. So many wars and conflicts have been started simply because y'all felt like making trouble that motherfucking day. Okay? Y'all have been hand in hand with white men from day one, taking, pillaging, stealing, all of it. Y'all have been right there, two peas in a white supremacist pod. And what's funny is there have been books written about the special kind of hell that enslaved black people endured at the hands of the master's wives. Why? Because the masters were not involved with the day to day. They had the money and they had the power because they were the men of the house. They were not dealing every day face to face, hand to hand with the folks that they enslaved. But you know who was? The wives, the mistress of the home was running all that shit. Every day face to face. Who were white women interacting with during times of enslavement? Who were white women choosing to nurse their children and raise their children? Y'all are in fear because you did clownery, and now the clown is coming back to bite. Y'all were a part of it, so y'all gonna get these consequences too. It's not just historically where y'all have chosen your race over your gender. It's recent as well. You showed it in the way that you continue to vote against your own best interest in order to punish other people. So that was cute and that was a nice try. Take that somewhere else. Y'all are just as complicit, and the leopard is finna eat your face.
Let's talk really quickly about Karen theory and white women who vote for Trump. To understand white female Trump supporters, I honestly think Karen theory is like a prereq. We all know the term Karen, we all can envision a Karen, right? But a couple years ago, I heard the theory on what creates a Karen, what is the recipe to build a Karen. And I can't remember who said this, but ever since, I can't stop talking about it. When you are a white girl or young woman, and if you are average or above average attractiveness, you get a lot of attention from older white men. And by older, I mean just older than you. So it could be guys your age, guys in their 20s, all the way up to like old ass motherfucker. You do get special treatment. You get complimented and people open the door for you. And it's a lot of little things. It's not huge displays of affection or gifts necessarily, but strangers and friends alike who are men in your life tend to appreciate your youth, your whiteness, and your beauty. When you walk into stores, people are greeting you very kindly and they're asking how they can help you. And I know I'm generalizing, but just follow along. And then, as the patriarchy intended, one day you stop getting looked at. You reach a certain age where your youth and beauty is no longer the first thing that people are noticing about you. And you start asking, where's my special treatment? And then you go into a restaurant or a store and you get ignored or just spoken to like a regular fucking person. And deep-seated resentment starts to take over. You wonder why no one's kissing your ass anymore. I'm special, don't you guys know that? And then everyone starts filming you as you crash the fuck out in public. Most Karens, I would say, are probably Trumpers. The correlation there is extremely strong. Why would that be? It's rooted in pick-me culture, and the premise is that these women truly believe they're the exception to the rule, and that the patriarchy is still somewhat set up to benefit them. They see the system as fine. They don't think the system needs to be torn down at all. In fact, they think that they directly benefit from it. They see the way that the patriarchy sets up careers and marriage as a great thing because a lot of them naturally want to be a mother and a homemaker, or they don't want to take on that much responsibility outside of the home. There also tends to be a correlation here with the level of education. So maybe they weren't that great in school, or that wasn't prioritized in their home. So then a big shot career as like a lawyer or working for a corporation was never in the cards for them to begin with. It might not have been for their brothers either. And so then as they grow older and they start to lose the baseline attention that they used to get just for being young and decently attractive and white, they turn into full-blown pick-me's. They say things like, oh, women are just so much drama. I would so much rather hang out around a bunch of men. And feminism is such a scam. I love the way our country is run. I love America, and I love being a housewife, and that's what I want to do. Side note, there's nothing wrong with being a housewife if you choose to. But if you don't have a choice and you can't have a career, that's not fair. But anyway, it pisses me the fuck off because their entire worldview is essentially rooted in, I don't care if other women suffer, I don't care if other women don't get the attention and the special treatment. I am going to get it, and I have set up my life to figure out what men like and how to make them happy. And a lot of times Christianity is also a part of this cocktail, of course, because it's rooted in modern Christianity and like evangelical shit. It's rooted in patriarchy. You submit unto your husband. He is the head of the household. And then these women are also like really natalist because they understand that their power in the household comes from motherhood, but not from pretty much anything else. And so, of course, they're anti-choice, even if they know that other women are going to suffer, because they're like, my biggest gift in this world was bringing life. And there should be more women out there who want to be mothers like me, because it's given me so much validation and purpose. And I very vividly remember when I really started to get outspoken politically in high school, knowing consciously, like, I'm going to be labeled as one of those women. And like, that's not a great feeling, especially when you're like a teenager and you want to attract boys and you want to have a boyfriend and you want to be cool. And I remember there was a certain girl in my history class my freshman year who I immediately identified as pick me, even though that wasn't the vocabulary we would have used at the time. But there were these guys, I went to a preppy boarding school, and there were these guys that every day in class would like mess with her, but in like a very obviously degrading and demeaning way, but it looked playful. They would like tug on her ponytail, like yaga her, and she'd be like, stop, guys, stop, seriously. And I was friends with her earlier that year, and I remember watching her in this history class, and I was like, see, this is where I draw the line. Because they're making a fucking fool of you. And you like it, or are somehow thinking that you're winning in this situation because of the attention you're getting from degenerates. But I digress. It's also why Mar-a-Lago face is a thing. Because in a conservative patriarchal system, women have value as long as they have youth, beauty, and the ability to bear children. And no one can be young forever. It's actually a trap. Men are allowed to age. In fact, they somehow gain value in patriarchy. Like someone like Trump, it's like, oh, he's got so much experience and wisdom. He doesn't. But that's how the patriarchy is going to interpret aging for men, regardless really of how they look. Women inherently lose value under patriarchy the older they get. And so then if you're one of the Mar-a-Lago Republican Trumper women who knows that, but isn't willing to challenge the system and be like, why is it this way? Why am I losing value with age? Instead, you either become an entitled Karen or get a ton of plastic surgery in an effort to look young. And you understand you can be outspoken, but only so outspoken. And you know at the end of the day that you're still going to be the scapegoat. Pam Bondi is a great example. Trump was giving her orders to not release the Epstein files, obviously, because he's her boss. But what did all the MAGAs do the second that it was being blocked and no one was getting any answers about the Epstein files? Come for Pam, because she's a woman and she's replaceable. Trump, in their mind, is not, even though she was following his order. I could go on and on about this topic, but I would love to hear what y'all think about women who vote against their own best interests and who would rather be the dog with the shiniest, prettiest collar, who daddy lets climb into bed while the other dogs sleep on the floor, than a dog with no fucking cage. Here's how I know without a doubt that MAGA and the Christian nationalist movement behind it in Project 2025 is a cult. Not that I haven't known this the whole time. Across the continuum of morality, there's one group that pretty much nationwide, internationally, in every context, is the most hated and the most despicable. Even in prison, where there are murderers and thieves and all sorts of bad people. Who goes first? You guessed it, pedophiles. Historically, whether you're white, black, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, That is the one group of people that we pretty much all agree are all the most disgusted by, and they cause the most harm long term. So MAGA has flip-flopped and done mental gymnastics over lots of things, saying at one point that we need this, and then the second that it no longer fulfills their agenda, flipping, right? But the one thing that they've flipped really hard on is their stance on pedophilia. Trump literally ran on the promise of releasing the Epstein files, and so did all of his followers. All the big conservative podcasters were talking about it. If you vote for Trump, he's going to release the Epstein files, and all of these awful, the worst of the elites, the pedophiles, are going to get justice. And then Trump and Republicans have, across the board, blocked the release of the Epstein files. Just yesterday, Ted Cruz said, quote, "We need to stop attacking pedophiles." If MAGAs are hearing that and seeing what's going on with the Epstein files and still doubling down and saying, this is our guy, this is our Christ-like figure, this is a cult. Because like I said, people across the board, across all the spectrums, tend to agree on one thing, that harming children, especially sexually, is absolutely the worst thing that you can do, and even really evil, bad people will go for those people first. So what does it say about you, MAGA? That your movement is now the guardians and protectors of pedophiles. I can't think of a single argument that you could use to justify blocking the Epstein files. How can you swindle that around? What debate tactics here could you use? Even if someone voted for Trump, who is not a racist or not a pedophile, they are going to have to live with the fact for the rest of their life that the KKK endorses Trump, that Laura Loomer, who has been openly racist, is a huge, huge part of MAGA, and that one of the most notorious pedophiles in the history of this country is being protected by the president, who was one of his close friends. And on top of that, Republicans are trying to lower the age of consent in many states. This is not moral gray area. It's become very black and white. MAGA, you can keep doubling down and be on the side of history that sided with racists, pedophiles, misogynists, the list goes on. Or you could wake up now and say, shit, I didn't think it was going to be this bad. I was bamboozled by a man who is known for being fraudulent and liar. That's okay. But doubling down as they dig their grave and solidify themselves as the party of hate, discord, and harming children, you either are one of those things or you're okay with those things, which is disgusting and embarrassing.
You know what's crazy? The fact that white supremacy is so engulfing of white people, and they don't even realize it at half the time, I don't think. White supremacy is so palpable between them that it has white women actively voting against their best interests, against their freedom, against their humanity, in hopes of impressing their husbands, in hopes of impressing their preachers and other male leaders in the community, in hopes of finally being seen as equal to white men. And what's even crazier is they do all of that and it never works in their favor. These white men will never see them as equal. Their womanhood will always keep them as subordinate to white men. And it's just, it's gotta suck to actively vote against the things that give you autonomy because you think that's what you have to do for little Timmy Turner to finally see you as a person. And he never will. Gotta suck.
White friends, we need to have a conversation right now. I know I look up hot mess right here because I just got out of the sauna having a really deep conversation with 3 other Mexican women. Got in the sauna with them and they were just talking about how scared they are in the state of this country, and white women need to do more, especially as Americans. Look for ways to make people feel safe. Have conversations with those strangers. For me, I speak French, so I was reacting to some of the things they were saying in Spanish, and they were surprised, and so they asked, they're like, oh, do you speak Spanish? And I said, I understand it, yo escucho bien, but we just ended up getting into this conversation that I felt like was important for other people to be aware of. Everyone is afraid, but it is so simple and easy for you to just look at your neighbor, a stranger, and say, hey, I hear you. I see you. I'm with you. I don't stand for what is happening in this country. I need you all to do that. If you are white and you are anti-Trump and anti this administration and ICE and everything that is happening, go out of your way to look at someone and say, I care about you and I don't feel what is happening right now. Just a small act like that makes people feel like they belong. That's all human beings want. They want to belong. They want to be heard. They want to be seen. And the more we do this as white people, or even, you know, white blondes that look like me, it makes people feel safer. So please do that whenever you can.
This is all I got from this video. And let me tell us this. The truth is that most white women, I mean, like you heard from a white woman also saying that, you know, when you are a MAGA woman, especially the ones that voted for this administration, they feel like you are part of what is going on. And it's more like it. Because if you look, I've been asking this several times, why is it that some white men that I see, because I see, I'm not saying that white women, I wake up every day to white men really being racist on this app, very racist, right? And I keep asking myself, who married all these people? Who are responsible? It shouldn't be right, but who are the people that are with these people, like these white men? Because the kind of behavior, the kind of things they say must really be or require someone that is also like them to partner with. Because the truth is that the way I am, you will not just be disappointed, but want a way out if you really find out that your partner, his handle is really very stupid and crazy and does not probably respect human life, does not respect other people and all that. Trust me, if you are a disciplined person, you would not want to be with that person. Especially when you see that your partner does that on daily. You absolutely will want a way out of that relationship or whatever you guys are partnering, right? But trust me, they are very comfortable seeing some certain things happen, helping their own partners do some certain things. That tells you how deteriorated some people's morals are. Because as human beings, there are some things you can condone, there are some things you cannot condone. And the ones you cannot condone, you leave the person and let that person. Some people will be like, oh, is it because of police that I don't care. I don't care. But you people are out there paying them. That's why we wake up every day to mass shooting. We wake up every day to different kind of things happening. People like, you know, really being vile, being mean to other people, saying some disgusting things, lying too. If you are a good person, you wouldn't even want your partner to stand on that camera to say bad things that you personally know that they are racist. So this is just where I am coming from. White women are also part of the problem and they know it. They know it. You guys are quick to say, we want our children safe, or how do we help you? But then you see some of the things that your family are doing that you should come out to speak up. You look for a way to cover it because whatever. It's just like I remember sharing a video. I don't know where that video is coming. You might see it at Nayasim or here or Sibnaya about a man who was really pissed at the cops. Why? Because something happened to his house and kids that were in this house smoking marijuana and drinking. There are white people were actually let go. They did not bother probably charging them to locking them up, because how dare you 18 years and drive at the same time? The cops let them go because they had to call their mother. Why drunk? Bye for now.